you are watching this at this exact moment, stop everything. Do not minimize the screen. Do not skip ahead. Do not put this in the background. Because Sophia Hawkmat has detected your frequency. And what I am about to tell you appears only once in your timeline. This is not a figure of speech. This is not a marketing strategy. This is Hermetic law operating in real time. Sophia is here. And if you ignore this transmission now, it will not return with this intensity. Never again. Stay with me for the next 40 minutes. Because what you decide at the end of this video cannot be undone. The choice you make now defines your trajectory for the next 7 years, at minimum, and potentially for the rest of this incarnation. Before we go deeper, understand what I mean when I use this Hermetic language. When I speak of Sophia Hawkmat, when I describe Thoth as keeper of records, when I reference 9 frequencies of consciousness, I am working with a symbolic framework that has been used for millennia to map experiences most people have but lack language to describe. Whether these are literal entities or archetypal principles of consciousness, I cannot prove. What I can tell you is that thousands of practitioners worldwide report that operating within this model produces verifiable results. It offers navigation. It creates coherence. So hold this as a map, not dogma. Take what resonates. Test it yourself. That is the only authority that matters. But understand, this framework is symbolic. The experiences it describes are real. The timing is critical, and Sophia does not wait. My name is attached to this transmission, but I am not the source. I am simply the channel Sophia chose to reach you. She could have chosen 1,000 other channels, 1,000 other voices, 1,000 other moments. But she chose this channel, this voice, this exact moment, and she chose you to receive it. Why? Because something in you was detected. Thoth, operating as the principle of divine intelligence and keeper of the Akashic records, scanned your frequency and identified something that exists in only 1% of the human population. He detected in you what we call emerald potential. Emerald frequency is not spiritual in the common sense. It is dimensional. It means you have the capacity to operate across 9 dimensions of consciousness, while 99% of humanity operates in only 3: height, width, depth, past, present, linear future, obvious cause and effect. This is 3-dimensional reality. But you always felt there was more, much more. You always knew there were invisible layers operating simultaneously, dimensions that interweave, realities that coexist, versions of yourself living different choices at different frequencies. This was not built through meditation or esoteric study. You were born with this. It is your cosmic genetic code, your DNA, not just physical but also etheric, astral, mental, causal, all your layers vibrating at a frequency higher than the human average. Let me break down what these 9 dimensions actually mean in practical terms, because this is not abstract philosophy. When I say dimension 4 is temporal, I mean you start perceiving that past, present, and future are happening simultaneously. You think about someone from your past and they appear in your present. You dream about something and 3 days later it manifests exactly. This is you beginning to navigate time non-linearly. Dimension 5 is causal, which means you stop being effect and become cause. Instead of life happening to you, you start consciously creating your reality, not through forced manifestation techniques, but through natural alignment. Your frequency becomes creative force itself. Dimension 6 is etheric. You start seeing and feeling energy fields around people, around places, around objects. You walk into a room and know immediately what happened there. You meet someone and sense their true intention beneath their words. Dimension 7 is astral. Your dream life becomes as real as waking life. You meet teachers in dreams. You receive information. You travel to other realms and remember it clearly upon waking. Dimension 8 is Akashic. You start accessing information from past lives, from collective consciousness, from the universal database of all that ever was and ever will be. Dimension 9 is Nous, pure knowing. You do not seek knowledge anymore. You are knowledge. Information downloads directly into your awareness, complete and perfect. Most people spend entire lifetimes operating only in dimensions 1 through 3. They see only the physical world. They experience only linear time. They believe only in direct cause and effect they can measure, and they die never knowing there were 6 more dimensions of reality operating around them the whole time. But you were born with the capacity to access all 9. The question is whether you will activate that capacity or die with it dormant. Here is the problem Thoth identified. Most people born with emerald potential never activate it. They live their entire lives feeling they are different, that something greater is happening, that they were called to something extraordinary, and then they die without ever discovering what, without ever activating the potential, without ever crystallizing emerald frequency into permanent manifestation. The reason this happens is simple. They do not recognize the signal when it appears. The signal comes disguised. It comes as symptoms that doctors struggle to diagnose. Always seek medical evaluation first. Rule out physical causes completely. But when nothing physical explains it, and the timing correlates with other signs, some interpret this as activation beginning. It comes as synchronicities that increase in frequency and intensity until it seems the universe is screaming at you. It comes as knowledge that arrives complete in your mind without you having studied it. It comes as ringing in the ears, especially the left ear, which after proper medical evaluation showing no physical cause, some experience as beginning to hear frequencies from higher dimensions. It comes as strange sleep patterns where you sleep 3 hours and wake completely restored, or sleep 12 hours and wake exhausted, because your body is processing multiple realities during sleep. It comes as fear of going insane because you see patterns no one else sees. You feel energies no one else feels. You know things you cannot explain how you know. And when you try to share with people around you, they look at you as if you are delusional. These signals are not pathology. When medical evaluation finds no physical cause, they are activation. Thoth is communicating through these symptoms, not as a threat or a warning, but as a signal. He is saying that you have been detected, that your presence has registered within the deeper architecture of reality itself. Your emerald potential has been identified, not as a possibility, but as a dormant capability waiting for a moment of decision. And now that moment has arrived. You are standing at the threshold where you must decide whether to activate what has always lived within you, or to turn away and allow it to remain unused. This is where Sophia Hawkmat enters the narrative, not as a character, but as a governing principle. Sophia, operating as the frequency of divine feminine wisdom, is the intelligence that oversees emerald activations, monitors alternative timelines, and governs portals of choice at critical moments in the human journey. When Thoth detects emerald frequency within a human system, he does not transmit the message directly. He routes it through Sophia. She is the guardian of the gate, the one who determines timing, context, delivery, and channel. She decides when the signal becomes audible, when the door becomes visible, And when the choice becomes unavoidable, she chose this moment. She chose this transmission, not randomly, not symbolically, but precisely. Around minute 28, you will face the most consequential decision of this incarnation. You will not be offered many options. Only 3. One path leads to permanent emerald activation. The other 2 lead back into contraction, back into 3-dimensional confinement, back into forgetting, back into a life lived with the persistent sensation that something essential was missed, that you were meant for something more, but never quite touched it. When these 3 paths are revealed, recognition will be immediate. You will see, with uncomfortable clarity, which path you have been choosing again and again throughout your life. And in that recognition, you will also understand why certain patterns have never changed, why progress has always stalled at the same invisible boundary. Sophia operates through what is known as the law of singularity. This law states that every true activation opportunity appears exactly once in a lifetime, at the optimal moment, not twice, not in waves, not with second chances. Once, Sophia calculates the precise convergence of variables: your neurological readiness, emotional maturity, lived experience, karmic positioning, and energetic coherence. When alignment is sufficient, she opens a portal. That portal remains open for 72 hours, 3 days. After that window closes, it does not reopen. Not because Sophia is indifferent or severe, but because cosmic timing is exact. The energetic configuration that exists right now will never exist again. Time does not loop. It evolves. It spirals forward. You never return to the same point, only to echoes at higher or lower octaves. When Sophia offers activation now and you refuse, the next opportunity will arrive under entirely different conditions, different life circumstances, different pressures, possibly a different lifetime. And it will be more difficult because refusal plants a pattern. That pattern matures into perpetual seeking without arrival, movement without resolution. This is reflected in the Hermetic law of non-repetition. What is offered as grace and refused returns as crisis. Sophia offers emerald activation now through grace, through synchronicity, through subtle alignment, through this transmission itself. If grace is refused, activation still must occur if emerald DNA is present, because cosmic law requires expression. But next time it comes through rupture, through loss, through breakdown, through suffering severe enough to dissolve resistance when comfort no longer works. This is not punishment. This is physics. You plant rejection. You harvest difficulty. You plant acceptance. You harvest ease. The choice has always been yours, and it remains yours now. But this particular opportunity, with this degree of clarity, intensity, and support, appears only once. And that once is now. There are 7 technical signs that confirm this moment. Count how many you have experienced in the last 6 months, not in distant memory, but recently. The first sign is operational synchronicity that defies rational explanation. Events align with such precision that probability collapses. You think of someone you have not seen in years, and they contact you that same day. You seek information and encounter it immediately, without effort. Repeating numbers appear with increasing frequency until denial requires more energy than acknowledgement. The second sign is instantaneous gnosis in areas you never studied. Knowledge arrives whole, not constructed, but recognized, as if recalled from somewhere already familiar. The third sign is unexplained physical symptoms that persist despite thorough medical evaluation showing no cause. then resolve mysteriously in correlation with other signs. The fourth sign is high-frequency ringing in the ear, often the left, occurring after medical clearance, appearing at moments of insight, alignment, or imminent synchronicity. The fifth sign is dramatic alteration in sleep patterns accompanied by unusually vivid, instructive dreams that feel purposeful rather than random. The sixth sign is obsessive repetition of numbers appearing throughout daily life with striking consistency. The seventh sign is the fear of losing your sanity because you perceive more than those around you, sensing patterns, intentions, and undercurrents others cannot detect. Count how many apply. 7 indicates full activation. 5 or 6 suggests partial activation. 3 or 4 indicates observation. 1 or 2 signals awakening. 0 means alignment has not yet begun. The statistical probability of you encountering this transmission at this moment is astronomically small. When something statistically impossible occurs, there are only 2 explanations: irrational chance or intelligent orchestration. If orchestration is the answer, then Sophia is the orchestrator. You now stand before 3 paths, and the choice must be made within 72 hours. Path 1 is rejection. You return to routine life. Forget this transmission, and the signs gradually fade. The portal closes for this lifetime. Path 2 is procrastination. You resonate but delay. You intend to return later. Timing dissolves. Activation never crystallizes. Path 3 is total retention. You choose absolute yes. You apply the retention protocol with discipline for 21 consecutive days. On day 22, emerald frequency stabilizes permanently. Retention requires consistency, not emotion. It requires the dissolution of your previous identity. The ego will resist. The first week feels elevated. The second brings friction. The third is the crucible. Most abandon the process here. Only those who remain reach day 22. If you do not choose retention, that choice is honored. But this message will not arrive again in this form. Now imagine day 22. You wake altered, unmistakably so. Perception expands. Certainty settles into your nervous system. Life flows. Synchronicity becomes normal. Creation becomes natural, not because you are special, but because your frequency aligns with the creative mechanics of the universe. This is not magic. This is dimensional physics. Your timeline is paused, awaiting your decision. Choose with clarity. Choose with courage. This opportunity does not repeat. You already know that. Welcome to Emerald Frequency. Welcome to multidimensional mastery. Welcome home. And if this transmission resonated, if something within you recognized itself while listening, take a moment to support this work. Like, share, and subscribe so this frequency can reach others standing at their own thresholds. This is only the beginning, and many more transmissions are unfolding. You are now part of the journey with Quantum Secrets.